Hi! Hello. So, I recently was on Pingo Books, and there's a series that I've been wanting to read. Well, you already know what series it is. And I saw that it was $15 for the whole set of them. And that is The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater. I have no idea how you pronounce her last name. And that includes The Raven Boys, The Dream Thieves, Blue, The Raven King. All of them are right here. And they're all, I believe, under 500 pages, which is quite shocking. Now, this series is something that I don't really love, which is urban fantasy. But I have heard nothing but praise for this series. I've heard that it is at a boarding school and there's queer characters. So obviously I was like, yeah. So we're going to be very honest with each other. I think I want to do a full spoiler reading vlog for this. Now, I am so sorry to disappoint anybody who might be wanting to watch this and then read the books. I think I'm going to do a full spoiler one because I just don't like doing non-spoiler reading vlog videos. I am really excited for this series and I really want to give like my full thoughts on it, especially because while it is absolutely loved, it is not something that I typically love with urban fantasy, and so I want to kind of see whether or not that's just been because of bad writing and bad experiences with books like that, and this one will, completely change me on that. So I really want to see. So if you have not read these books, do not watch this unless you never want to read these books, which I don't know how you could never want to do that. These books have been praised for the entire time that I've been reading. I've heard so much about this series and I've surprisingly not been spoiled for it. All that I do know about this is that there's a boarding school. There's, I believe, 4 boys, 1 girl, and there's some form of magic, but I have no idea how it works or anything like that. So the first book is The Raven Boys, and I have no idea. Let's read the back of it. If you kiss your true love, he will die. Anyways, this is the back. Even if Blue hadn't been told her true love would die if she kissed him, she would stay away from boys, especially ones from the local private school known as Raven Boys. They only mean trouble. But this is the year that everything will change for Blue. That's such a 2000s YA name. This is the year that she will be drawn into strange and sinister world of the Raven Boys, and the year Blue will discover that magic does exist. This is the year she will fall in love. So magic exists, but she also knows that if she kisses her true love, that they will die. And also, the boys at this school are known as the Raven Boys. If this school doesn't have Raven in it, I don't understand how. Let's get to reading. I am terrified by this stiffness of this book. Also, this will be the first physical book I've read since April, I believe. These are the first books that I have bought since April, by the way. Good purchase? We will see. Let's get to reading The Raven Boys. I'm wearing my Spiderman shirt. So far last night I only read the prologue, which is like 3 pages. All I know from those 3 pages is that her family is full of like psychics and her mom is also one, and her entire life, multiple times, she's been told that whoever her true love is, if she kisses them, that they're going to die. And she has, I believe it's an aunt who is also a psychic and does it for like television and stuff, meanwhile the rest of her family doesn't. And so her aunt is now coming to stay with her, and when she answers the door from her aunt goes, "You're gonna fall in love this year." Having a fear because your entire family tells you that somebody that you love is going to die if you kiss them, your first true love. And then having somebody be like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna fall in love this year." Just wanted to tell you. But she's now 15, I believe, which, like, true to YA, where it's just like they're really young teenagers. But I did go on Pinterest. I know I shouldn't be doing that, and I looked at some fan art, and I love it. All right, you got two blondes, one bald, and a dude that looks like how Peter Parker in my mind looks. And then you got Blue, who is absolutely stunning. So, yay! I have now read to page 50 of this. We have now met everybody within, like, the core group. So, obviously, we've met Blue. Okay, so we've met Blue. She's our only female character so far. We've met... How do you even say his name? I'm just gonna say Gensi, I'm so sorry. Who is the dude that I saw with, like, brown hair and glasses. We've met Rowan, has a shaved head and a neck tattoo. And then we've met Adam, who has blonde hair. And then there's also Noah, who also has blonde hair. So, that's really fun. We haven't really been introduced to Noah that much yet, but so far, this has now multiple POVs. We've gotten Adams and Gensi's POVs, which I was not expecting for this to be a multi-POV book, if we're going to be very honest. So, there's something called Saint Mark's Eve, I believe it is. And basically it's a time where, like, a bunch of ghosts, but not from people who are dead, but, like, the living will, like, walk this place, and basically if you see them, they die within the year. And so Blue is there with her aunt. She normally does it with her mother, and she can't see anybody, but she ends up seeing Gensi, but she doesn't know that that's him, because she's, never really met them. And she also has, like, a hatred for the Raven Boys, which is what the boys who go to the all-boy private school are called. And so she ends up seeing him. He gives her his name. Come to find out that Gensi was also actually there, except he didn't see anything. He didn't see Blue, and he has a recording of, like, this event happening of him talking, but he remembers not talking, and then Blue, like, responding because she was talking about what his name is. And basically what we've learned is the reason that she's able to see him is either because it's her true love or because she kills him, which for her is kind of like a mixed fate. That's very funny, but we got some backstory on Ronan as well, that he apparently found his dad dead. Also that Adam may not be rich like the other dudes are, and they also apparently live, instead of in the dorms at the all-boys school, they live in this, like, rundown factory that Gensi owns instead of, like, the dorms and stuff, and they all kind of live there. And now Gensi he's interested in, like, this. There was King Arthur and then Glendor basically got mentioned, and basically Gensi has, like, this ability to find, like, tokens and stuff, like different historical things. And so he has kind of this obsession with finding this old, I forget exactly what it is, but oh crap, no, I know what it is. A Welsh, yeah, it is like a Welsh king who basically just disappeared after fighting for the Welsh freedom from England, because of course England, why is England always here? And basically that dude disappeared, and he believes that he's still alive, and also that if you find that dude's corpse, apparently he'll give you, like, a wish, so that's cool. And he believes that he's there in Virginia. So I'm guessing everybody has a slight accent to them, or at least some of them do. And so now he also has this thing with, like, ley lines and just basically, like, a bunch of supernatural stuff, and the rest of the group's kind of like, doesn't really believe him that much, but they're also, like, supportive of him. And Blue basically saw him, and then her aunt was like, I can see how he died. And she looks into this thing of like grape juice and finds that she can't figure out how he dies, which is so fun. But now basically Gensi has, I believe it's the number of Blue's mom, Mav, I can't pronounce names. I should tell you this right off the bat, I can't pronounce names. I'm probably pronouncing Gensi wrong. So I'm guessing is going to come in contact with them. I don't know how yet, but their lines are still like separate so far, and I'm guessing that they come together with some sort of supernatural thing, because this school is all boys and she goes to a completely different school. I'm ready for some trauma and some magic. We've already got some, so let's keep it going, boys.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
50 pages in. I'll try to update you at 100. I don't know. Oh, I also wanted to say that I think that this was published in 2012, right? I think that this very much is already giving, like, the writing of its era, and I'm not saying that that's bad, okay? There are some books that, like, throughout the 2010s, there were some eras that I'm like, so I'd never want to read those eras, ever. But I think for this, especially because recently I have been reading very much 2020's romances, and they're very, like, poorly edited and not that well written, so I think a, like, blast from the past, or at least a little bit, is probably the best thing for my brain right now. And also, I've already made, I don't know, how can I show you? Yeah, that. I've already have a crack on this. This is so, like, this does not flop at all. And so I'm sitting here, like, with my thumbs hurting, fighting to keep this book open. Anyways, yeah, my thoughts and opinions so far are that I'm very excited because this has something that I really like, which is found family. So, yay! So I have now reached page 100 of The Raven Boys. It's been a minute because I took a break from reading. I also, since the last time I talked to you, injured myself. I was making myself dinner and cut my fingy on tinfoil. Yay! New updates. They've met. There's a bird raven named Chainsaw. I love me a good animal companion, especially when it's a brooding character and they just take care of this little being that's, like, easy to break and so vulnerable, and they're just, like, so loving towards it. I love that so much. We had an interaction between Blue and Gensi, but she didn't know that it was Gensi. She just knew that he was a Raven boy, and she works at, like, this pizza place. And basically he, like, offered her money to go talk with them, to, like, Adam and stuff, because Adam has a crush on her. And then she ended up, because Ronan had a fight with his brother, she ended up having Gensi's journal, which has all of this stuff about the ley lines and stuff. And we also learned a little bit more, we learned about Ronan's past, that we knew that he was the one who found his father, but we found out kind of how he died, what the whole beef is with his brothers. He's also religious, apparently. And now we have Chainsaw, who is a little raven that he supposedly found in his mind. So, they're talking about, like, reactivating ley lines and stuff. This is following the boys a lot more than I thought that it was going to. I don't know why I thought that this was going to be, like, just from Blue's perspective. I don't know why I thought that. Maybe I was just never told that it was a multi-POV book. But, yeah. So far, we've got some very messed up characters who are looking for magic. This very much is giving slightly Legendborn vibes. Although, I'm betting Legendborn is slightly inspired by this, not the other way around. Because this was released over 12 years ago now? That's terrifying. 12 years ago was 2012. That's terrifying. Anyways, I'm gonna keep reading this because it's good. I'll update you later. Wow, such a lovely angle. My band-aid's already falling off. I didn't update you at 150 because it just felt like I was going to be annoying you by updating every 50 pages, but I did end up getting to 200, and that's in, like, chapter, I don't know, over 20. So, 200 pages in. I like this book. I like it very much. I will say, we're getting more trauma and background on kind of each character. We got more background on Adam, and I have to say, I think that she writes about, like, as of right now, like, trauma and stuff, and the way that she's letting each character kind of have their moment and not taking away from it by having, like, another character be like, well, I'm going through something worse, or, stuff like that, and it being compared. And so she's letting them all just kind of have their own moment, and you have this center person who is Gainsey, who is trying to help all of them but still has no idea what to do. And I relate to his character so much. The way that he doesn't know exactly what to say, the way that he just wants to fix every problem and to have his friends either be back to the way that they used to be, or, like, just be, like, out of the bad situations that they're in. Like, he's truly, like, he doesn't know what he's doing, but he's really trying to, like, help these people, help his friends. And I love Adam even more, honestly. He's the cutest little guy. He sent Blue some flowers. Blue now. So we had the reading and stuff. Ronan had a very fun moment with Kala. So that's really fun. I also love the fact that he has this, like, giant tattoo. He's, like, 17, by the way. Let me also correct something. Blue is 16, by the way. Just thought I'd correct that, because I think I said, like, she's 15. No. They were just referring to, like, that, and I think it was either the prologue or the beginning of the book. She was referring to something that she did. She's 16, so it's not, like, crazy. But he's 17, and spent, like, $900 on a back tattoo, like a back and neck tattoo, and has a shaved head. I love him so much, and he's taking care of this little raven, this little baby raven, and he's just feeding it, like, gray sludge and stuff. We also learned, and I'm guessing that this is going to come up again because she's a good writer, at least so far as I can tell, she's a good writer, and so I'm guessing it's going to come up again with whole allergy that Gainsey has. He's allergic to bees and wasps, like, basically the venom that's in them. And he talks about how he only has, like, an EpiPen in his car. Sir, there was one in his room, and Ronan came in. By the way, the relationships are so good. The way that they had, like, a slight argument before Ronan came in and, like, protected him from the wasp, and was like, what are you doing? The way that they just, like, protect each other, and, like, just, it's kind of like a friendship where they become, like, sibling type of thing, where they're, like, so protective over each other. Basically found family. Yeah, also, just, we're being so chill right now and going up into a helicopter to look for ley lines. There's also this teacher who's, like, psychopathic, and, like, one of his friend, he either killed him or his friend died. I don't know which it is, but he was obsessed with ley lines back in the day, and then basically his father got into financial debt because he was working with horrible people, and now he's a teacher at the school that Gainsey and the rest of the Raven boys go to, and he's now becoming obsessed with Gainsey because he's like, oh, he's looking for the ley lines, and then he just discovered, he wasn't discovering the ley lines for the old king, Glendor, or whatever his name is. He was doing it just because he wanted to say that he found ley lines. Sir? So, basically, Blue's mom doesn't want her hanging out with the Raven boys. Guess what she decides to do? There's also some weird stuff happening with the different people within Blue's family, like the psychics, especially her aunt Neve, I believe is how you pronounce it. It's very good. Alright, and now, like I said, they're up in a helicopter. She got sent flowers by Adam, and then he called her, and then he was like, hey, do you want to come explore with us? She was like, cool, I have your friend's journal, by the way. And he was like, sick, you're in. So now we're just all buddy-buddy. But she also believes, or was told, that the corpse road, basically where she saw the spirits and like they wrote down the names and they're gonna die within that year, that's ley lines, and so she basically drew it for them and now she gave it to them. Oh, that's very interesting. I have no idea what's gonna happen. Because I don't know if this was a planned out series or if this book's gonna end like it's supposed to be a standalone and then it's gonna be like, oh, this is actually a series. Because if it's like that, I'm going to be very sad. But anyways, we're 200 pages in. Doesn't feel like that's what the ending's going to be. And also, we haven't resolved basically anything yet. So, there's still like 217-ish pages left. So I'm very interested in how different things resolves or different relationships form in this. It's very good so far. I'm a character girly, and this is very character based. And I love that. What? Hi. I'm feeling a little sick. Worse sick. Like, I'm very, very tired right now. So, sorry about this ankle. And also, I probably sound very stuffy. So, I am on page 300 of the Raven Boys. As you might have saw in the last clip, I was reacting to a bombshell of information. We've had the whole storyline with the teacher on the side, right? And he had like this friend that he only referred to with his last name. So Blue and Genshi end up hanging out. Like, they go together to this ley line and they're getting led somewhere. And they're like, I don't know where this is. And they discover these bones and stuff. Because we saw the teacher's perspective and he had like, was talking about how his friend that he only referred to with his last name was dying in front of him. He didn't say how or like why, other than the fact that it was like a ritual. That's really fun. And they discovered through the ID that was in this dude's pocket that it was Noah, the other guy within the thing, and apparently he had told them, hey guys, I'm dead, by the way. I was just sitting there reading that, I was like, what is this book? Because we've started now messing with like different type of magical stuff. It's mostly been about time, about like the way that when they walk into this forest, it will, like, the seasons and stuff will change, but when they come out, it'll be either, like, the same time or, like, only a couple minutes past. And also, there had been, this rock that Ronan had, like, I'm guessing it was blood that he wrote in. They were like, it's, like, this dark color, and it's shifting from, like, brown to plum. I'm like, that's blood, baby. And it was from his future self. Also, the trees speak Latin, by the way. I don't know if you knew this. I do have to say, I think that everything with the magic is very interesting, and I think it leaves a lot of room for kind of different explorations and different kind of twists with the magic. I love the fact that so far it's not, like, established what's actually happening or how to actually solve this mystery, and that it's just all very confusing. I appreciate that a lot because it's a series, and so I'm hoping that that continues. So, yeah, that was quite the bombshell to just casually drop on me. But now I have like 117 pages left of this book, and man. Also, Noah really likes Blue, and the trees talked about liking seeing her again. Something's happening there, and I'm a little worried about it. And also, we got a thing with, there was this tree where if they went in and closed their eyes, they could see, like, this vision of, I believe, like, their future. And Adam talked about, like, killing Gensi, like it being his fault that he was dying, you know, just casually. And then he talks about being jealous of Gensi and Blue when he finds out that they went on like a venture on their own. I'm so concerned for that, but I also know that I don't think that him and Blue do end up together anyways, but I am a little terrified for what this all means. I'm also very interested in what this magic is and how it works, and also if it does lead to Glendar. And also, I'm very concerned about this teacher. What this man terrifies me. He copied down Gensi's notes in a bathroom and had like a whole plan for any scenario that happened. And he's been following like the places that he's been going. I'm terrified of this man and what he's going to do. Anyways, I might see you when I finish this book. I might see you earlier than that. I have no idea. Yes, you can, you sweet baby boy. What kind of joy do y'all get from recommending emotionally devastating books? Also, yes, I know I look rough. I feel incredibly horrible today. And that might just be because I finished this book. I ended up giving The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater 4.5 stars. This is not a 5-star. And is that because this is an urban fantasy and the magic is a little confusing? Yes. But it's a 4.5 because the characters are really good and this book focuses mainly on them and the things that they're going through. And that's like something that I absolutely adore and love. I'm sorry if I sound a little weird. It's because I'm still very sick with Kovana. Excuse me if I also don't give the best explanation because my brain is a little funky as of right now. I read like 219 pages yesterday. We had our very big climactic ending with the teacher ending up dead, Adam basically awakening the ley lines and changing a little bit, and then also Blue's aunt Neve disappearing because her mother and her mother's friends and her mother's cousins and Blue's cousins moved the mirrors that were in her room and they made her disappear by accident, which is, just really casually really cool. But she was about to be stabbed, so like I guess it was for the best. Alright. This book has so much good like character exploration, and I really, really love, especially after reading the Married to Magic series, with her kind of just having the trauma be a reason why like two characters don't end up together or why they like don't trust each other, and then never really resolving it. In this, we haven't resolved anything yet, which I very much appreciate so far because, again, it's a series, so but I know that these books are going to like go through it with them, and I very much appreciate that. Her character development and writing and like expression of these characters and what they stand by is so good, because you have Adam, who's very like bullheaded in a way of not wanting to accept handouts, and it's so easy to see it from both sides because obviously you get both of their perspectives, but it's so easy to justify both sides of it, where you want him to get out of the situation that he's in because he's in an abusive situation with his father. He ended up getting I believe it's his left ear, he can't hear out of it anymore because he fell, and thankfully Ronan was there and beat the crap out of his dad, and so he pressed charges against his dad, and so he had to move out of his house. And basically it was against his own terms, basically, because he wanted to save Ronan from going to jail by saying that Ronan was defending him. And so now he can't go back to his house because it's such a complicated situation with his mom, because she's stuck in the same horrible situation, but she's also playing a part of it, and it's such a hard and complicated relationship to be a victim of it, but also putting it on somebody else as well and kind of justifying it, but you're also going through pain. It's such a complicated relationship with the mom, and he's even protecting her when he was leaving and everything, even after he's, had her tell him to be quiet and not talk about it, which is, to the police at least. So it's such a complicated relationship, and I love the fact that we're getting complexity to each character, and also that, like I said, they're not getting like outshined by somebody else or being compared to or anything like that. It's kind of just like, this is what's happening to these characters. These are part of the reason why they're doing these things, because they have these convictions because of these things that have happened to them, and it's so beautiful. This story is less about magic and more about their characters' relationships, at least so far. And I was talking to one of my besties, one of my shotties on Discord, and she was talking about, hi Ishla, I don't know if that's how you pronounce your name, I'm so sorry. She was talking about how this book is centered more on Ronan. So he has dead father, he found dead father, he made this raven chainsaw, the bird's name is Chainsaw, which I absolutely adore, came out of his mind. He just revealed that at the end of the book after Adam woke the ley lines and murdered their Latin teacher. So it also has him on the cover of this one. I'm very interested in what he means, because it seems so far like everybody has kind of a different, not ability necessarily, but like aspect that they bring to the group, which like obviously, but it's kind of like Blue amplifies stuff. Adam can like figure stuff out and he woke the ley lines. You have basically Gensi's like the money and like the person who like obsesses and about all this stuff, and then you have Ronan who is basically like the fighter and stuff, so that's really fun. So I'm so tired. I don't know how many pages this one is. Should we read the back of this? Blue didn't mean to fall for the Raven boys, but she has. And the more her life entwines with theirs, the more dangerous it becomes. Ronan is the most dangerous of all. He's the haunted one, the darkest, the most raven. His dreams invade reality and confuse what is true. With magic growing stronger around them, now is the time to be wary. Before everything unravels, friendship will be tested, someone will get hurt, and a kiss will be shared. Ronan, are you gonna kiss Adam? I believe that's right. Does it actually happen in the books, or is that just like fandom shipping? I hope it's in the books. Honestly, Ronan and Adam deserve to be happy, alright? I can't wait to be saying that and then something absolutely devastating happens. Because I know these books. I don't know this book specifically, but I know this type of writing. It's gonna bring me pain, and I don't know if I'm ready for it. I was already almost crying when Adam and Gensi were fighting after he left the hospital. By the way, Gensi, you were right. You should shut your mouth every now and then. These characters are so good. But yeah. I don't know. Okay, so maybe I should mention the way that Adam woke up the ley lines was basically just by going into this pentagram and being like, hey, I'll be your eyes and ears. And then the trees were like, sick, dude. And we're just like, went in. I don't know what powers he has now, but I do know that he's changed slightly because of the ending of this book. Also, Blue, poor Blue, she went up to Noah's parents because, like I said, they found his bones, right? And so she had to, Noah was like, go to my parents, tell them this. And she was like, and so she had to go up and she was like, my mom's a psychic. And the mother and the father were like, please don't. And Noah was like, please do. I felt so bad for her. But they dug up his bones. They're grave robbers now, by the way. Add that to the list of their crimes. And they buried his bones on the ley lines so that he's now able to appear again. So that's really cool. He also really loves Blue, which I adore. Also, I love the fact he used to be a Raven boy as well, like a Aguiline boy. I don't know how you pronounce this freaking school's actual name. And he was like, no, I used to be worse when I was alive, because Blue was like, no, like, I think that you're just as good as when you were alive. And he was like, no, I think I was worse when I was. And I was like, accountability, acknowledgement, we love that. I'm gonna go be sick now, so. Alright, so I have read to page 100 in Dream Thieves, which is chapter 13. So there was the F slur was used, or like the abbreviated version of it. I don't know, because I know this came out in like 2013. But I don't know if Maggie is a part of the community that's allowed to use that. Now listen, if she does write about characters like getting together, she might be forgiven for that. Alright? But I just wanted to say that, because like, I'm guessing she probably is part of the community. But that was a little jarring, having a character say that. It wasn't one of our boys though, thankfully. It was Kavinsky, which why is that always like the bad guy is like Kavinsky? What's with that? There's like so many movies that have dudes with like either the last name, with like the last name Kavinsky, and they're like the villains or like these horrible dudes. What's with that? What do y'all have against Kavinskys? So far, this book definitely does follow Ronan's point of view more. We've gotten like way more of his perspective in this book. But so, you remember in the last book how I was talking about how Adam going through abuse and his mother kind of, being a victim of it too, and kind of also making it so that he was stuck in the cycle and making it so that it was like unfair to him. I hate it, but I also very much do appreciate the fact that we're going to have a conversation about this, or at least I believe that we're going to. So, Adam, he's not staying at the little apartment that Gainsey has. He's staying at like this church. He has this room, he doesn't have a lot in it and everything. And Blue came and visit him. And she hasn't told him about like, why she won't kiss him, but she has told Gainsey about why she won't kiss anybody. I find that miscommunication so annoying as of right now. So, she gets very defensive when he asks why he can't kiss her. They have a fight, and then Adam goes and showers. Adam comes out, and there was stuff with money happening where he was able to get his scholarship, the price of his scholarship, the price that he has to pay to be a Raven boy increased, but his rent just went down for tax reasons, and he believes that it's Gainsey. It was Ronan actually who helped him out. So he looks at Blue, and they're having this thing, and he's like, don't pity me because he didn't accept this internship because he doesn't want to be like a mechanic. He wants to be, basically an important person, but kind of do it on his own. He kind of blacks out and ends up kicking his side table, which is like a cardboard box. And he talks about blacking out during that. And he talks about how the rage is all consuming. I hate the whole thing because it's a very true thing, at least from the media that I've consumed. I'm not a psychologist, but the repeating of cycles and the way that even during his rage he was kind of justifying the reason for it and saying what's wrong with Blue rather than realizing kind of what he did and that he should be apologizing for the fact that he had an outburst and everything. And it's such a hard thing because he comes from obviously this place of trying to rationalize why his father is doing it to him, and then when he ends up doing it, it's just like this Oh, and he justifies it in his brain as well. It's such a hard thing to watch somebody repeat a cycle, especially when they are going through so much and they're not resolving it in any way. He's focusing on trying to find Glendower and trying to get a wish from him. He's not addressing anything that's happening with him. He's just kind of making excuses for that. And it's such a sad thing to watch the cycle continue with any character, but especially one that you're rooting for so much, and you don't want to see these violent tendencies and these excuses that they make up for themselves. But it is a conversation that needs to happen, because obviously, he's gone through so much, it's not just going to go away. And I do hate the fact that it's manifesting in this way, because he's a sweet little baby boy and I don't want him to be like his father in any way. But I absolutely adore the way that Blue dealt with it and is still dealing with it, where she's angry that he didn't say sorry. She told him off and told him that what he's doing is not okay, and I love her so much for that, because it is a terrifying situation to be in, to see a dude, especially when you're alone in his apartment, to see a dude become violent and angry. I love her so much for being able to stand up to him and kind of being a voice of reason. Anyways, that's just something that was very jarring to read and that I wanted to talk about. Obviously, I'm not the best at it, but I just think that it is a very important topic that she's tackling. She's tackling a lot of dark topics in these books, and I think that so far she's doing it really well, but that's also because we haven't really resolved anything yet, so I can't speak on how well the development and also like the expression and showing of it is, nor can I tell you how realistic this stuff is, because majority of this stuff I have not gone through, so but I'm just hoping that she does a good job, because these are very serious topics. But so like I said, we're following Ronan a lot more in this is still very multi-POV. There's this weird thing with Kavinsky where he's like, Kavinsky gave him like, he wears this, not Kavinsky, Ronan wears these like leather bracelets, and Kavinsky gave him like 5 identical ones to the ones that he normally wears. And Ronan can take stuff out of dreams, and then he can also, like, it's easier with some things. It's a very hard magical thing to explain, which is starting to get on my nerves just the tiniest little bit. But I'm very much guessing that that's kind of the idea, is, like, to keep it vague, because even the characters don't understand what's happening, and so it's kind of either going to lead into a part of the story where maybe they understand more, or it's going to help like drive a narrative, which is what I'm guessing. Unless it's not, then I'm gonna be very mad. he took out glasses that were almost identical to Kavinsky's and gave it to him. That's when Kavinsky said the F slur. I do not vibe with that man. Unless he's being internally homophobic. Even then, I'm like, don't say that to somebody else, bro. He's also a Raven boy, by the way. Also, there's weird stuff happening with the ley lines. You remember how in the last book we had that weird teacher? In this book we have a dude who, I don't believe he killed Ronan's father. I could be completely wrong, but he's called the Gray Man. There was also like a thing with Ronan where he was talking about dreaming, and normally when she's like going in between characters, she'll put like, like paragraph spacing, like how you would in an essay, rather than like when they're writing and it's kind of indented instead. She didn't. There was either a mistake on my thing, or she did it purposefully, where the Gray Man had like, it wasn't indented in any way, and it just switched to the Gray Man, and it was, the paragraphs were connected. I don't know if that's like, but anyways, the Gray Man is looking for something called the Grey Warner, and I believe that it's actually Ronan instead of like this object. But anyways, we find out that in the past, this dude he's working for this guy who doesn't actually know the Gray Man's name. We don't know his actual name either. And so he like gets him this stuff that is like super rare and stuff. He basically is like a weird Gensi, the dude that the Gray Man is working for. Anyways, yeah, there's weird stuff happening with the ley lines where Noah like went out for a second, like a little candle, and then he flickered back to life by grabbing Ronan. And then also the other book was talking about it, but there are like weird power outages because the ley lines have been activated within the town and stuff. There's also a woman that Adam saw, and then there's also a woman in Ronan's dreams where when he sees her, it's easier to pull stuff out of his dreams. And I'm guessing that that's somehow connected together. So yeah, I'm only at page 100 though. I'm trying to think of all this stuff that has happened, because there's so much stuff that has happened, but it's like, I don't want to update you every 5 seconds because I know that it's like stuff that doesn't like actually matter to the plot, but I'm just like, ugh. Like, we also haven't seen Neve like at all since she disappeared. It's also very funny to go, like, you'll be reading a chapter and you're like, okay, we're following this character, and then it's like a little bit later she's like, actually it's this character. Like, she'll switch in the middle of a chapter with like the spacing stuff, and I'm just like but it's also summer break currently where they are. I also, Henrietta, Virginia, I don't know if that's even a real place, but basically they all have like slight accents. Adam more than anybody else. But yeah, Chainsaw's like almost fully grown. We're having a real fun time, alright? And I'm very concerned about this gray man because, that's what I wanted to mention. He beat up Declan, who is Ronan's oldest brother. I believe Ronan's the middle brother. And so he beat him up, and he's looking for, again, the Grey Warrior. I don't know how you pronounce that freaking thing. And again, I believe that it's Ronan, or he has it somehow. This dude just gets beat up, and he's like trying to call Ronan, and Ronan doesn't like phones. Weird person, I know. And he's like sitting there with a broken nose, bleeding on the ground. And then they encounter each other in church, and he's like, what happened? And Declan's like, burglary. And Ronan's like, that doesn't happen here. Yeah, anyways, there's my little rant about the 100 pages. I have a lot to say, and I'm gonna be very annoying about these books. Hi again, we're back laying down. Okay, so I've read to page 200 of Dream Thieves, which, I don't know why, but I am reading this book a lot slower than I did the first one. So, I'm only on page 200. I was thinking that I was going to be on like page 300 by now. I don't know why, but I didn't update you last night because I just fell asleep afterwards. I like passed out. So that was really fun. And there's a good amount that there hasn't really been that much that's happened, but there's also been like some stuff that doesn't make any sense. I'm so sorry. So, 2 things that escaped, or like 3 things that have escaped Ronan's dreams. Him and Gainsey fought this like weird bird person, and apparently another one escaped. Noah is still having issues. They found that the ley line where it was changed, and so now they don't know where it is. The gray man is trying to date Blue's mother now, so that's cool. Just a hitman hitting on Blue's mother. Nothing weird. He also got a reading from them, so that's fun. Oh, and then we also discovered, because they went to bury the bird body at Ronan's father's house, well, the one that he's going to inherit. And basically he saw this cow that should have been dead because of the age of it. And so he saw it and he was like, what the heck's happening? And all the animals on the farm are just in this like weird trance-like state. And he was like, oh, what the heck's happening? He goes and sees his mother, and she's exactly like that. And basically they discover going to Kala, who doesn't really like Ronan that much, and Ronan doesn't like her. They have a weird relationship. And they're like, oh yeah, this is because your mother was pulled out of his dreams, and that's why she's not functioning anymore. I was like, what are you talking about? I just realized that I'm very congested. Anyways. So, she's basically like, oh yeah, like, you know, you can't, she's basically useless without your father's input and stuff. And there's so much stuff on this property because they're not allowed, the Lynch brothers aren't allowed on the property because of their father's will, except to like help their mother stay alive, basically. And I'm just kind of sitting here, I'm like, so does that mean that his mother doesn't age? And like, what does it mean for him? Like, that his mother came from a dream? Does that make it so that he's like has more magic or something? Because they were talking about stuff running off of like dream power, like a toaster. And like, he also had a little plane that didn't have any energy source or anything, but was able to be controlled by like a controller. And they're talking about like dream energy, so I'm like, what does that do to him? Because he's like, if he was born from his mother, unless it was surrogacy, like, what's gonna happen to him? What is he made out of? Anyways, yeah, Noah keeps filtering out, the ley lines moved, the gray man's trying to date blue mothers, and Ronan believes that if he is able to find the ley lines, or like in his dreams, because he was in one of his dreams, he was in the forest where the ley lines were and wrote on the rock, which we past him saw and was like, oh, you know, it's my handwriting. So he believes that if he like finds his mother, he can get her to like wake up, basically. I don't know, but his younger brother is very cute, Matthew. Ronan, of course, is a middle child, which makes so much sense. Anyways, yeah, that's the update for 200 pages in. Like I said, not a lot has happened, but also a lot has happened. It's very weird. Anyway, he also was dreaming about Adam taking a mask, and then Kala told him to destroy that mask. So that's really fun. But we are thinking about Adam a lot, and I'm like, anyways, yeah. Hi. So it's been a couple days, and we're still reading this. Don't look at my nails, I just painted them and I'm not good at painting them. Anyways, I am now on page 300. I have like 158 pages left to go within this. So, on this back of this book, right, there's the description there. It says, and a kiss will be shared. She just clickbaited us, guys. She's like, there's gonna be a relationship, but not the one you think. So we learned that Ronan's not the only Grey Warner. I don't know how you pronounce it. I don't know how you pronounce anything in fantasy. I don't know why I make videos about reading it, because I can't talk. Anyways, so we find out that Kavinsky, that annoying dude, is also able to pull stuff out of his dreams. He pulls identical cars, white Mitsubishis, there we go, out of his dreams. So that's, you know, really cool and fun and funky. But basically, he somehow realized that Ronan is that, and so he, with the like leather bracelets and stuff, went and showed him, was like showing him that he's able to pull stuff out of his dream. And then now, because Ronan and Noah got attacked by, you remember the second Birdman that came out of Ronan's dreams that I was like, oh, where is it? Well, first off, Ronan with his younger brother Matthew, because again, Ronan's the middle child, broke into the old house, or the house he's not supposed to go to, with his mother. The Birdman showed up there, but also the Gray Man did too, and he just went in there and casually stole the wooden box that has like all of the languages on it from Ronan's thing. There was a language that nobody knows, but it was in Ronan's father's will, and so he used the box to translate it, and it said basically the same line as the other one. So basically, I'm guessing there's like a dream language, and we're gonna figure that out. But now the gray man has that language box. So yeah, they were about to get attacked by that bird thing at the house. His younger brother was there. He didn't explain anything to this poor man. So now we have the Birdman attacked again with Noah in the car, but he was driving and racing. Guess what? Gainsey's car. After Gainsey's like, no, you can't have it. He dreamed a key. Ronan dreamed a key and took it out of his dream. And basically, that was to the car that he's not supposed to drive. And guess what? He wrapped it around a tree because he was getting attacked by the Birdman. And then Kavinsky was there and shot it and saved him. So that's really fun. Also, so 2 things with Blue. So we have her and Noah because Gainsey and Adam went away to the upper part of Virginia to this like event thing together. And so her and Noah are just chilling, and she tells him, she still hasn't told Adam about the kiss thing, but she tells Noah and Gainsey know, and she is like, I'll die in my kiss, and he's like, oh, well, I'm already dead, so you might as well just kiss me, and she's like, bet. And so they do, and then she pictures Gainsey in her head, and her body relaxes. And then also, so Gainsey and Adam are at that big event in the big mansion thrown by his parents because his mother is running for a political office, Gainsey. And so Adam's there to get basically like more opportunities and meet people, like the rich people, so he can get out of his situation quicker. So, or like, you know, have people to go to when he goes for his career and stuff. They have a fight. Gainsey calls Blue just to hear her voice. I am so concerned for Adam because he became violent again. He's like, there's stuff going on with him, and I'm just really hoping, although knowing any author who's written anything, he's probably not going to have a happy ending, and it's so sad because you fall in love with this like sweet side of him in the first book, and now it's kind of showing the effects that this trauma has had on him in this one, and he's becoming violent and like paranoid because there is stuff happening because he took on the ley line, so he does have a right to be paranoid, but the anger is like, you know, he needs to do self-reflection and understand why he's angry with those things. Like, it's, again, really easy to see it from both sides, but it is just kind of annoying. Anyway, I have 158 pages left of this. I don't know why I've been going through this book slower. We're on our 2nd week now of reading these books. I don't know why I'm reading this one slower than the first one. I think that's just kind of it with second books, but this is still really good, so it's not like a part of that trap. It's just I kind of slowed down reading just cuz. Anyways, that's my update. I did it! I finished The Dream Thieves, which was actually 450 pages. I am dyslexic with numbers, apparently. Every single time, I'm just like, guys, is this amount of pages left? And then I'm just wrong. Anyways, the ending of this had me stressed, not because of the actual plot thing, but because I was trying to read it before I had to eat dinner. I don't know why, but it was just like I had 50 pages left, and it was like my parents were making dinner, and I was like, if I want to finish this before that. And guess what I did? I finished it before that. I ended up giving The Dream Thieves 3.5 stars. So, this is not really, I'm not going to say that it falls into the second book syndrome, where the second book in the series is like not as good as the rest of them, but this definitely did have a slower pace than the first one did, and I think that comes kind of from the way that these books are planned out, of, I'm guessing, having the really big thing, which is finding Glendower in the 4th book, and so these 2 ones are not filler, but they are more about learning about the backgrounds of each characters. I would say Adam was kind of more the first book. We didn't really fully dive into his stuff. That was kind of just like his trauma is what I remember the most out of it. So, you know, I feel like everybody in the first book did get kind of equal perspective, but that being said, this definitely was Ronan's book. I have to say, it is a very interesting power, and the magical system in this is starting to be explained a little, just like a smidge more. There's still a ton of stuff that's very confusing, and I'm guessing that that's on purpose, because it's either going to be revealed, or it's just like, you're like the characters where you don't know what's happening, and you don't understand why all these horrible things are happening. I will say that I feel like this it doesn't deal with like or resolve trauma necessarily the best way in this, at least, because we still have like conflicting points and stuff, which again, second book in series, this is going to continue throughout the rest of the series. You know, we have Ronan, who's very impulsive, but we also have Adam, who we have found out the reason that he was acting so like angry and kind of not himself is because of the ley line magic and him not being able to respond to it or use it in the right way. And so it's kind of explained away for that, and now he's gonna be different, I guess, is the whole thing. Is like, you're gonna be different. I think it was Persephone. Yeah, it was Persephone who was like, my family thought I was weird and different afterwards too. I was like, what do you mean by that, Shoddy? Anyways, yeah, it's very funny to me to be like having a relationship so soon after. So basically, within the I'm so sorry, I keep saying basically so much. The 150 pages that I read. Adam goes into like this. Well, first off, he goes into Blue's house after he basically wanted to ask for advice. He doesn't do that, but it was because on the last day with Gainsey, he just like walked next to a highway for like an entire day, and then was found like 15 miles away, and he has like no recollection of why or what happened. And then he was given a free car by the family, but in like a way that he, one, was forced to have it, and two, like, it wasn't supposed to make him feel bad. And so he's freaked out, and he goes to Blue. Blue is like, he asks her like, why won't why wouldn't you kiss me? And she's like, really, that's what you came here to talk for? And she talks about like, I'm kind of annoyed by Blue, at least towards the end of this, because I'm just like, oh, sweetheart, no. And I think the reason for that is because Adam even points this out, where she's kind of using, like, slightly changing the subject to, like, kind of deflect off of the question, because she's, like, sitting there and she's like, you know, you would go to talk to Gainsey and all of these people about, like, what happened during that trip, and it's like, shoddy, I understand, but it's like, oh. And then she says, you know, tells him why, after basically telling everybody except for Ronan about why she can't kiss him, and then she straight up says, but it's not gonna be you. Crazy. So anyway, Persephone calls, like, when he's downstairs storming outside, she pulls him aside, and then he does basically like a scrying, I believe it is, like scrying, where you look in like the bowl and stuff and can reflect not just yourself but like images and stuff, and he learns what he needs to do to correct the ley lines to stop Noah from flickering, and also like a weird part of his brain's like, Ronan needs this. So about that too, his brother, Matthew, his younger brother, gets kidnapped by Kavinsky. I hate this man so much. So basically, Kavinsky kidnaps him. He has all of the white Mitsubishi shoes. I'm not gonna be able. I can say it right in my head, but I can't say it out loud. That's like one of the weird things about that. Everything just left my brain. So Kavinsky tells Ronan, he's like, hey, you know, he's in one of these cars. Oh, I should also probably mention that Ronan and Kavinsky were taking drugs and drinking alcohol to, like, be able to pull stuff from their dreams. And Kavinsky is such a sad little lonely pathetic little boy that he was like shocked when Ronan brought the like an exact copy of the pig, the Camaro, out of his dream, and he was like, "You're going back to Gainsey?" And Ronan was like, "Yeah," and he was like, it's me or you're against me." So I don't like him. Anyway, Ronan now knows how to do stuff with his dreams. He saw his papa in his dreams, and now like the will got changed, and so with the ley lines being set right, he was able to bring his mother to I'm so sorry, this is so out of order, but yeah, basically his mother's awake now. And then so let's go back a second. He has this battle with Kavinsky where he takes one of the sleeping pills on the 4th of July party. Blue and Gainsey are looking for his brother and like the 50 white Mitsubishi. I can't say it right. So they're looking for Matthew, Ron's younger brother, and then Ronan's over here trying to create a monster, basically getting the like Stiefvater, however you pronounce it, to be like, "Yeah, we'll help you." And then Kainsey did all of this just to die. Kainsey had like a fire dragon, and then it right at the end comes and shoots and kills him. So that's really fun. Also, Gray Man, I hope he's a reoccurring character, honestly, because he basically ends up being a good guy. Well, he tells Ronan that he killed his dad. The Gray Man killed Ronan's dad, and Ronan beats him up, but then helps him by giving him one of Kavinsky's dream cars that he pulled out of his dream, if that makes any sense. And so Gray Man goes on run because people think that he has the Gray Werner. He doesn't have it. And so now the ley lines are back up. Now they won't be able to find it because whenever they would pull something out of their dreams, there was like this flash of like light on this. They're like EMF readers and stuff, and so now they don't have that. And also this dude's brother is a psychopath, and so he's being followed by these like other 100 dudes. He pulls up to a gas station, confronts them, and they're like, "Okay, we won't do it." Pulls over to where his brother is because his brother doesn't want to be in the cameras at the gas station. Shoots him and kills him. And he was talking about how nice Mora was. I don't know how you pronounce her name. It might just be Marie. No, Mora. There's no way it's Maria. There's no way it's Maria, right? I did like them together. Other than killing Ronan's father, he's a pretty tight dude, honestly. Keep him around. Although, like, is his father really dead because he's, like, in the dreamland now? Anyway, poor Ronan's brother Matthew got drugged and dragged into a situation he was not a part of. Anyways. Yeah, I don't know. I feel... This just took me a little bit longer to read. I just feel like I am kind of sad with some of the ways that the characters are currently going. And also, yeah, I should say, so Adam, after the scrying thing, passed out on Blue's, like, living room couch for, like, 21 hours, basically. And while that was happening, since they had just gotten into an argument, Blue was, like, you know, going through it. So she calls Gainsey, and she's like, "Take me for a drive." They end up, not kissing. I'm so sorry. Blah, blah. But they, like, touch stuff. And so now it's like they were like, "We're never gonna talk about this again." So I'm like, okay, but I was just kind of like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are you talking about? Like, he's like, "Oh, I would never kiss you." Like, okay, because she's doing this thing where she's comparing Gainsey and Adam, technically, in that scene, or at least that's just my brain correlating it, because he's like, "I would never do that," after Adam had been, like, a little bit aggressive towards, like, why she's not kissing him, and then also, like, you know, wanting to kiss. But, like, I was just kind of sitting there, I was like, she didn't tell him. So how was he supposed to have a fair shot? Like, I can understand. I don't think that Blue and Adam should be together. I agree completely with, like, and it may just be because of the ley lines that, you know, he ends up being toxic, but it's kind of just like, they don't really vibe that much together. Like, they are cute and amazing friends, and I love their dynamic as friends, but, like, I don't really know either if I like Gainsey with her that much, at least not yet. Like, I can see why, and there is a slight appeal for that, but I'm like, eh. I also do want to say, I have seen on Pinterest fan art of Ronan and Adam, I believe. I haven't, it's been implied and kind of told to me, because again, I said at the beginning of a video, queer romance, that Adam and Ronan were going to end up together. At least I believe it was them, if I'm remembering right. And I'm just kind of out here like, okay, so I know that Gainsey and Blue kind of ended up together because that was also implied, because if this book series has been around for so long that it's hard not to have, like, any kind of spoiler for them. But, like, is Ronan and Adam, do they actually get together? Because we did have a scene in this where Kavinsky was, like, basically being like, yeah, I wanted you. I still hate him. I can still be an ally and hate somebody who's queer. No, cut that out of the video. I'm so sorry. Anyways. So, it's just really funny to me because it's like, Ronan's like, yeah, I do swing that way. I was like, but I'm just like, as of right now, I don't see any, like, romantic connection between them, at least yet. Ronan is, at least in all of his chapters, he does talk about Adam, like, a decent amount, but Adam doesn't really talk about Ronan that much. It's, like, very sparse that they do. So I'm very interested in if that's an actual thing, like, actual relationship or not, or if that's just fandom shipping. But anyways, yeah. So far, we're enjoying this. The third book in the series, Blue Lily Blue, which this is much shorter than the other ones are. Let's read the back of this. For the first time in her life, Blue Sargent has found a place where she feels at home. The Raven boys have taken her in as one of their own, and she is sure that this is where she belongs. But certainties can unravel, visions can mislead, and friends can betray. The trick with found things is how easily they can be lost. Did she just say that this is a found family and that it's going to be lost? Honey, no. What are you gonna do? I just realized, is it gonna be the relationship, like, is there gonna be something exposed about Blue and Gainsey, like, possibly being together, and then Adam's gonna be like, ooh? I'm gonna hate this if that's what that is. We're gonna be very honest, and I know if that's in there, some people are like, right now. Alright. Last thoughts on the Dream Thieves. I think I do like the, like, character development that we're going towards. It's just some of the, like, things that she's having the characters do within the books is very, like, annoying to me, and then sometimes it just doesn't get, like, resolved as well as, like, I hope to, and then that just, I keep saying it, but I think that it's gonna come up in like later books because of, like, how dangerous some of their behaviors and stuff are, and also just, like, I wish that the powers and stuff were more established, and I do kind of wish that we explored more, like, emotional side of Ronan, because that doesn't make sense, but we did, but it was also, like, felt like we didn't get to kind of understand what his life fully was like when he was, like, before his father died and all of that stuff. Anyways, I'm just rambling at this point, but yeah, I just wish there was a little bit more. That's all. That's literally my only complaint. And the reason I rated it 3.5 stars is literally because I rated the other one 4, and so I'm like, it's not as good as the other one, so I'm just gonna give it a 3.5. Anyways, there better be a romance, alright? That's actually a joke. Please don't, because I don't need a romance this quickly. Alright, save it for the last book when things are resolved between characters and we can all be happy. And then kill Gensi. Gensi? Why is it always their freaking Latin teacher who has to be a weird dude? Alright, so I am now 100 pages, or 102 pages. Yeah, I was on 101 at the end of this chapter, but that didn't last that long. So I am now on chapter 13 already. I don't know what's happened, but I am flying through this book way quicker than the second one. Maybe that's just because my brain knows that it's shorter, and so it's like, yay! But anyways, multiple things have happened already. So the clip that comes before this, the dude in that sentence, the Green Mantle, used to be the Gray Man's boss, and that dude, Green Mantle Colin, is now their Latin teacher. 2 times now that they've had a crazy Latin teacher that's like wanted to kill them. Well, he doesn't like yet because he doesn't know, but he was looking for what Ronin is, which is the Gray Werner. I don't know. Again, I don't know how you pronounce that. I'm so sorry. And so I'm guessing he's gonna find out in some weird way. But I do have to say, I freaking love the Gray Man so much, because we got a scene of him, because he said, "Oh, I'm going back home after," like at the end of the last book. And so I guess his home is here because he was talking about how he liked Mora and just Henrietta in general. And I was like, I don't know, I like him. I know he killed Ronin's father, but like this man was psychologically and physically tortured when he was younger, so I'm like, he's one of those complex characters where you're like, you did this horrible thing and I hate you for that, but also like, you're kind of dope. Anyways, Noah's acting weird again. Something's happening with him. Blue was in like this college, or not college, counselor office talking about college, and Noah like exploded things. Also, Blue wanted to go to this college, and this lady was like, that's your reach college, like that's the one that you're not going to get into, so let's find you reasonable ones, and you're going to be on financial aid, so we're going to find you something. Like, she just assumed all of these things about her, and I was like, you should not be working in this school, my guy. Anyways, so Noah's acting weird now. Gainsey and Blue had a little moment. We now have Mallory, who is the like old British dude that Gainsey talked to about like the ley lines and stuff and spent like a whole year with. Oh, we also, before Mallory showed up, they went into the cave that showed up, because there used to be like a little pond with like the different changing koi fish, and now there's this cave, right? And so they go into this cave. Gainsey's in front. They're all tied together. He falls and just becomes like paralyzed and is like having a panic attack and stuff. And like then there's a bunch of ravens that come out of this like dark hole that's coming out of the ground. Mystical Cave almost died, and he was also, for some reason, he's been having, because again, he's allergic to like wasps and bees. He's been having like some stuff with it at the beginning of this book, which makes me fearful. And then there's also something with the number 3 about like don't wake number 3. I also do have to say, what's with all of these like characters, except for Kavinsky, like all of the like bad people just showing up to Blue's house, just like being like, I want a psychic reading. Actually, I'm a horrible person. I'm here to kill you. What is this? What operation are we running? Yeah, also Marie went looking for like, Blue's dad, like her ex-boyfriend, and apparently she was inspired because of the Gray Man, because he was like being brave and stuff. Again, they're cute, but it's still like I have such conflicted feelings on the Gray Man. Anyways, yeah, so now we have another crazy Latin teacher. Noah's acting weird. Ronan's being his good old self. Adam is dealing with some stuff. He's doing better now, but now he's dealing with the court case with his papa. So we're going to be going through some fun trauma. And then also Matthew, Ronan's younger brother, knows about Cabe's water, but like I don't know if he like actually knows what it is, but he knows that like his mother can't leave it, otherwise she doesn't talk or, you know, act anything. Anyways, yeah, but basically Blue right now is going through like her mom disappeared for her first day of school, and she's dealing with kind of going back to school, not having a mother, and then also kind of realizing that just because she's doing all this magical stuff doesn't mean her dreams for her future are, you know, exactly possible for her. I hope they are. Honestly, we're gonna be very honest with each other. I would love to think that I would be an Adam if I was friends with like a Gainsey. I wouldn't. I would be like, you want to pay for my school? All right, give me the money. You want to give me a free car? Thank you. Listen, I would be like, oh my gosh, no, don't do that. Oh, you're so insistent. Fine. I know that's not good. Shut up. Anyways, yeah, so we're going to be going through some fun trauma and reliving of stuff. There's also like the ley lines speaking to Adam. Persephone's a little weird. We have so much already happening within this. So, you know, that's just really fun. But yeah, it also is like I do hate to admit it, but I do really like Blue and Gainsey. I know I was just talking smack about like how soon it was after with Adam, but I'm like, just the way that they comfort each other and stuff is like, I don't know, it's cute. And I also do have to say I love Mallory, although I don't trust him that much because the track record with these types of characters has not been good, and I'm terrified. Anyways, we got a little poem at the beginning, or poem stanza, I don't know what it was, that was the title. I'm still very confused by this title, but Blue made it so that there was blue lilies floating down on her and Ronan. Is that signifying something, or am I crazy? Anyways, yay! Hello, we are back in the bed again because I just woke up like 40 minutes ago. So, I may or may not have like stayed up until 12 last night. Oops. But with that, I did end up reading to page 200 of Blue Lily Blue. We got another mention of it, the title in the book. So that's really fun. This time it was Noah who was saying it, and he acted weird again. So, multiple things have happened. I think the last thing that I showed was Ronan and Adam being like knowing that Ronan has a crush on him, and like the feeling of being wanted, of how like good that felt for Adam. And I was like, oh my gosh. And Ronan had left him like a little gift because Noah's hands get like really chapped each year no matter what he does, and so Ronan left him like a moisturizer, basically, like just thinking about him type thing. And then they also were on Ronan's father's farm together. They made it now so that he's allowed to go there, and he's trying to invent stuff because we found out that Matthew is actually a dream entity, the same as Aurora's mother, but he was Ronan's dream person. Like, apparently he was like 3 years old, I believe, when he pulled Matthew out of his head. So that's really cool, just casual toddler things. He's trying to basically invent something to make it so that, like, if you put this thing on, then it makes it so that you don't have to be within the Cabe's water, and so you don't have to, like, if the ley lines ever go down or anything, and you can still like roam town and stuff and be fine. He's basically like, Adam, you have powers to tell whether or not the ley lines magic is working and stuff, so, you know, that's fun. There's so much that has happened, and some of it left my head because I'm gonna be very honest, I was very, like, tired when I was reading it. But majority of it, I'm like, it's retained. So So we now have this, like, weird thing happening where the Gray Man and the Green Mantle know about each other. The Gray Man went and threatened the Green Mantle, and the Green Mantle was basically like, you're not gonna kill me. Because basically, if the Green Mantle dies where he is now, he takes down the reputation of basically everybody who is, like, around the Gray Man, and that's, Gainsey, Ronan, Adam, Blue, the entire 300 Foxaway household, like, everything. And so, like, their futures, basically, it makes it so that they can't do anything with their lives. So basically he strikes a deal with him that on, like, the Sunday he has to decide whether or not he's against him or if he's going to give him the Grey Warner, which again is a person, not a freaking object that he can just have. I do have to say the Grey Man's interaction with Blue's family are really cute, and it's such a conflicting character, dude. Anyways, so yeah, that's what I'm, like, thinking about. Also, there's been more moments between Gainsey and Blue where they're calling each other, and I'm just like, like, I hate to admit it, but they are very cute together. I am very curious about why Noah is acting very weird, and I also have to say that when he was acting weird, Blue was cleaning this dude's yard who has an entrance to the cave, because again, the other cave that they went into had, like, this just sudden drop, and so they're trying to find, like, a different way to the other side of it, basically. And so they went to this dude's place, and I just remembered something very important. This dude's place, and he has, like, a cave entrance, and apparently his, like, whole family, his, like, father's father have all died within this cave, and it's like a curse. And so Blue had to basically win this dude over. After the last time she was there, this dude was basically like, no, you're not going in there. And so now they're able to go into that cave, and she mentioned, because she had gone there and people were looking for her because they didn't know where she was, because she don't got a phone, and so everybody was, like, concerned for her, and they were all at Blue's house. And she mentions that the Jesse dude who would not allow them in the cave and now is, that he's on, like, a list of people that are gonna die within the year, the, like, corpse road list type thing that Gainsey's also on. And Adam realizes that she's, like, acting weird about it, and then he deduces somehow, some way, that it's Gainsey who's on the list. Like, bro. Anyways, yeah. So that's fun. So now Adam is a reverse of the previous situation where Adam now knows something that Gainsey should, but Blue's not telling him. I just want everybody to be happy, but I know that I'm probably going to be devastated with the fourth book. So, hello, my doggo is here. I have now reached page 300 of Blue Lily Blue. Not much has changed. We still are having issues with the ley lines. We still have Adam and Ronan flirting with each other. We still have Blue and Gainsey flirting with each other, except they got into an argument. I forget why they got into an argument. Oh, it was over something weird. Oh, yeah, she, like, got angry at him, but for, like, a other reason, because she's not, doesn't have as much money as him, basically, but she, like, was doing it because Henry had, like, pulled up next to him and stuff, and she kind of realized that she had surrounded herself with, like, Raven boys, and that Gainsey was inevitably gonna be dead, and so she was going through a whole thing, and then decided to start a fight with him. But Gainsey being Gainsey was like, you're gonna tell me what this is actually about? like, icon, genuinely. You remember the cave that I was talking about with that Jesse dude who's gonna, die? Well, we went back into the cave, we found a tomb that we thought was Glendower's. Ended up being Glendower's daughter, who's, like, insane because she's been sleeping for, like, 7,000 years or something like that. And so she's now just at Blue's house, like, running around. And apparently Blue and her mother are supposed to wake different sleepers, but not the third one. And we don't know who the third one is, but I don't know, but she's giving, like, more information and stuff. The Glendower's daughter, Gwendola, I believe is how you pronounce her name. But she's, again, insane, and she sings things and sing-songy stuff. And this is, like, the most that we have ever gotten the title within a book. Like, we got the Dream Thieves within the second book, and the Raven Boys within the first book, but this is, like, the most that's been repeated because it's, like, a little rhyme and sing-songy thing. So, we have another crazy woman within Blue's house, and we still don't have her mother back, and we haven't gotten her mother's perspective in a minute, so I don't know what's happening with her. But, so yeah, that's all very fun. Also, the Gray Man is still struggling, but he now has Ronan and Adam who are, like, trying to help him basically, like, pin a crime or moreover, like, a murder on Green Mantle to kind of put him away so that he doesn't kind of collapse everybody around him, because if they just kill him, everybody else is gonna go down. It does make me wonder, though, with the whole, like, pinning a crime on him type thing. Like, he's gonna know kind of who did it, right? Or am I just kind of crazy in that? They're trying to I think that's what they're trying to figure out, is a way to, like, pin it on him without him, like, knowing that it's them, or, like, having it blow up in their face and stuff. And, of course, Blue's upset because, she's not being told this, but I'm like, if we're gonna be honest with each other, that's probably for the best, because I don't think she would agree with this plan. I also don't want her to get taken down with them in case anything happens. So that's all that's really happened within the past 300 pages. I meant to finish this last night, but I was too busy being a little crackhead. Well, I finished Blue Lily Blue. I gave this 4 stars. Alright, so multiple things have happened. Persephone apparently is dead. Basically, Adam was trying to, she, disappeared, and he was trying to find her, and apparently she had tried to follow Blue's mom, Maura, into the underground. This is Stranger Things, apparently. I don't know. Alright, so this book definitely feels a little bit more scattered than, the first two kind of do. I feel like that's because we're kind of jumping between different events and stuff, but I feel like I should also mention, because it's not that talked about, which, even though I wish that it was, is that Adam's dad confronted him, and then also, at his own place and stuff, and Adam there was a thorn in his hand and stuff. And then also, Gainsey and Ronan showed up to his court case as witnesses for the abuse, and I kind of just wish that was kind of talked about more in it, because it was kind of just one chapter, and then we never really spoke about it again. I also wish that we had more Blue and Gainsey development, and also Ronan and Adam development, and the magic system is still very, mixed up. But how do I even put this freaking book? I was just, reading this freaking book. I was walking outside, and it was oh yeah, Persephone is dead. What are we talking about? And then, so Ronan and Adam before Persephone and stuff, Ronan and Adam go to the Green Mantle's house and give him the evidence and stuff, and being hey, if you don't move out basically by Sunday, all of this stuff is gonna become true. And so he's like, hey, let's leave. And then his wife Piper is like, no, we're going to this dude's cave. And so they go, but the Green Mantle is like, nah, I'm good, and sits it out. And but his wife and like the bodyguards and Mr. Gray, because he was there scoping out the cave that was there. Also, so we had Persephone die. We also had Jesse die. That poor sweet man. He gave Blue SpaghettiOs, and you just killed him like that? That's so rude. But while this is happening, after Persephone has died, Adam, like everybody within the group, is like, we're going to the cave. And so they lower themselves in. Ronan has like a dream light that, you know, I'm guessing doesn't go out. And they end up going through like this trial of like waking animals, and it ends up being Gainsey who wakes them up, because I'm guessing again he's the Raven King. And so it's like waking up animals, and there's this hole that's closing really quickly, and only Blue and Ronan are able to get through it. And then there's this mirror, or not really mirror, but like this little like lake thing that shows you like dead people or like your fears and stuff. And Blue and Ronan had a little cute moment where they were holding on to each other. And Blue, because Gwenala like showed her basically that she could like step in front of mirrors and not be affected by it, Blue is able to like walk into the lake, into this little like cave part. There she finds her mother and her father, Artemis, who's like, she tells him basically like, yeah, you're my dad. And he's like, it's like, I wasn't expecting this for this day. He's like, you look exactly like her. I'm like, even she's like, catch up, dude. Anyways, so yeah, they basically, Artemis and her mother are like, Blue has to tie their hands behind their back, because there's this like tomb that they, for some reason, since there's 3 people there, like really want to open. And so they're like, no, we can't open it. And then guess what? Piper and the Gray Man and Morris, who's the bodyguard for Piper, or like a thug for Piper, come into this cave. The light goes out. We have a showdown. The Blue, Mora, and Artemis end up getting out, and so does Gray Man. But we also, yeah, we just cut from that. We don't explain how Adam, Gainsey, and Ronan, like Ronan we know a little bit of how he got out, but like the rest of them not really. And so we just cut to them dropping off the Mallory dude, who's the British researcher that works with Gainsey. I almost said Ronan for some freaking reason. And then in the epilogue we get it so that Piper, who's still alive, Morris, who's like bleeding to death, and then for some reason Neve is there, and she's like, let's open the tomb, because again, there's 3 tombs, or there's like 3 things that they need to wake. Gwenala is like the one that they're allowed to wake. There's one that they're not supposed to, and then there's another one that's, you know, I think Glendower, unless Glendower's the one that we're not supposed to wake. I have no idea. But anyways, yeah, Blue's mother is now alive, and I think back in the same world. Her and Gray Man are both still alive. I was so scared that she was going to kill the Gray Man. I think that's really my only complaint, is that this book feels a little bit more like choppy and like unfocused, because I think with the second book, since we had so much focus on like Ronan and going through his stuff, that this felt a lot more like Adam central in it, but it kind of felt like jittery, and like we didn't actually fully explore like emotions and stuff with him. It kind of just felt like it was like, yeah, this is Adam, cool, let's move on. And I think we did explore Gainsey and Blue's relationship a little bit more, just like not in any like substantial way, I guess, of like, you know, them like going on a date or anything. I don't, you know, that's not necessary, but it's like, you know, for my little brain it was like, we're not really exploring this as much as I thought we might, especially because there's only one more book left in this freaking series. But yeah, so we have established very much kind of everybody's, not necessarily power, but like their positioning and what they kind of are for this journey, we have Blue, who's like amplifier and is like a mirror and stuff, and people can take energy from her. She can take energy, like she can stop them from taking her energy and stuff. Adam is like speaking to the ley lines and knows what they need. Ronan is like the dream thief. He can create stuff out of the dreams and like understands kind of the energy that he's taking from the cave's water and stuff. And then we kind of discovered with this that Ronan can kind of command and keep things together, like he's the head, like the king type person. And so I'm guessing the Raven King is him. Again, I would be very shocked if I was very wrong about that. But anyways, yeah. Hello. It's been a couple days. And you might be able to tell because I started the Raven King and I'm 100 pages in. Nothing else is different. Okay, yes, I got my hair cut. Shut up. And thank you for the compliments, by the way, because that's what you're doing, isn't it? So, it has been a couple days. For some reason, I was just not, in the reading mood, so on Friday I didn't read, and then Saturday and Sunday I didn't read either. So, it is now Monday, but now I am technically, I'm on page 106, which is chapter 13. I think I've done that before in the past book where it was chapter 13. My Taylor Swift. So, not too much has happened at the beginning of this. I mean, it's only 100 pages in, so, I would hope that there's not that much change. But we have gotten basically updates of, Gwenwella still being crazy. Artemis, Blue's dad, instead of giving them, answers and stuff or talking to anybody, he's just hiding in a storage closet. Man's gone through stuff and just decides storage closet is now his safe place. We also now have had a scene with Gainsey where they went into Cave's water and they were shown by Ronan's mother this rotting tree, and then these three people who they had seen before on, I believe it was a card or something, and they all kind of look like Blue, but not really, but also at the same time. It's vaguely if you tried to draw Blue from memory after not seeing her for a month. That's basically what she was saying those people looked like. And so we had a scene where Gainsey basically was the only one who was able to tell them to go away after everybody failed to do that, because apparently only Cave's water will listen to him with that type of stuff. And that's also what happened at the end of the third book too. So I'm alright now. So I'm guessing, again, I've said, my hypothesis is that he's the Raven King, and I think we're just building more proof towards that. But basically now it has become a thing where everybody's I don't want this man to die. We have Ronan, who's trying to get this suit of armor, and so he went into his little dream place, and then he was trying to grab it, but it felt rotted and weird. And the dream girl, the little orphan girl who's normally there, who has a bob and has a weird skull cap, apparently. For some reason, the way she was describing it, I thought it was a haircut for a quick second. And so she is oh, okay, cool, take me out of here, she helps dig Ronan out, and basically because he's in a panic and she's the last thing that he touches in the dream world, Ronan accidentally brings her out. And then that's why we went to Cave's water, to bring the little orphan girl to his mother, Ronan's mother, who lives in Cave's water because she wouldn't be able to otherwise. That whole thing. And it's very weird to me because she's mimicking the same call outs that Chainsaw does. And so I'm is she a physical, a human version of Chainsaw? But Chainsaw is still alive and doing well, so I'm confused by that. Is she just mimicking something she's heard? And now we just discovered that there's an event called Raven Day, inspired after Noah, and basically he dreamed what happened in Cave's water with a bunch of ravens fighting and stuff, and giving more details of what Cave's water and the journey that they've kind of been on in a dream before he died, like 10 years ago when he created Raven's Day. And they were kind of like, huh? I'm like, you've been at this high school for like almost 4 years now, and you're telling me that they haven't once mentioned who invented this thing that you guys celebrate every year? Unless they don't celebrate it every year and it's just like I don't know. But for it to be 10 years, it would have to be. Anyways, we now have Blue also dealing with confronting the fact that Gainsey might die, and also kind of what she does want to do with her life and how she's going to move forward with it. And she also has gotten suspended from school for like a day, though, because she had an outburst because of this one dude. And then they keep referring to this time that she like ran away. And I'm like, why do we keep mentioning it? Is it because they mentioned it, but they haven't like actually brought up what's happened? So I'm kind of like, oh, is there something that ties into the rest of the story with that? Like, did she see or feel something that like ties in with the rest of like maybe her character arc for the end of the book or something? Or is that just something that we're using to kind of like show that she's not always been this like specific way that she is now, where she like follows the rules and stuff? Although she's not really that much of a rule follower either. But also Adam, it's very funny because I relate to him so much as of right now. He was talking about like how he understands that it was a healthy breakup between him and Blue, and how he thinks that it was right, but he still has like urges and still finds her like really attractive and stuff. And then he goes on to talk about Ronan, and he's sitting there and he's like, the fact that he was able to make him laugh in a specific way that he normally doesn't or reserves for his brother, like Matthew. He was like sitting there like he was so happy that he got that. I'm like, stop with the teasing, bro. Anyways, I did find out recently that I think it's called Call Down the Hawk, it's called the Dreamers trilogy, does include like characters from the Raven cycle, the main part, but it focuses more on like Declan and other characters, like side characters in this story kind of thing, which I'd be interested in picking up, because I don't love Declan that much, but she does. Like, this, again, these stories are mainly focused on the characters, and I think that she does a really good job executing that, which is why there's such, like, a fan base around this, because she makes you care so much for them and love them so much. Like, she does such good character, like, growth and, like, visualization that I don't really know, like, I don't love Declan, but I'm also kind of, like, I have confidence that if I did read it, I probably would, like, either sympathize with him or like give him more understanding and more grace than I currently have for him. So that's just fun. But yeah, but anyways, that's a 100-page update for you. Hi, I have a headache. I have now made it to page 201, which is chapter 29 of the Raven King. So okay, we've gotten more, obviously, character and story growth. So, I wanted to say last time that Henry kind of gives me Kavinsky vibes. Not in, like, that he's a douche, but, like, in the way that he kind of is looking out for Gainsey. He's looking out for him in kind of a way that Kavinsky was at the beginning of the Dream Thieves, where he's kind of talking about how he's like, you know, let me help you out and stuff, and Henry has helped them by like telling them that their trunk was open when the orphan girl was in the trunk, because he brought her into the real world. And he also has invited him to like toga parties and just been cool to him and stuff, and not asking questions about different things. And also, like, Adam had a bunch of construction plates fall on him, but apparently Cabe's water, like, stopped it from happening, and it was a perfect circle around him, and Henry kind of was just like, that's crazy. So either he's really stupid, or he knows about it and is helping them, or he doesn't know about it, but he's just a cool dude. I don't know. We now have a demon who's a hornet, and guess who's allergic to hornets? You're right, your boy Gainsey. Yeah, so we got now both Colin Greenmantle's perspective. He's dead now, by the way, just chill things. And now Piper's perspective of her with Neve, and kind of how the demon is like keeps giving Piper favors, but this forest, which I'm guessing is Cave's water, keeps like disintegrating and having like black goo and stuff. And speaking of Cave's water, Ronan ended up dreaming what Cave's water like looks like and is made up of, but not like Cave's water itself. He just brought it, an already existing thing, into the real world and stuff. Like I don't know, it's weird. Alright, this whole magic system is really weird, and it just keeps getting weirder, my guy. So the way that we have like a bunch of different collectors and stuff looking for basically magical items to either sell it or just collect in general. Greenmantle was one of those people who was just collecting them because his family did that and stuff. And she also has like triplet fathers, I guess, or her fathers are magical, I don't know, but her fathers are also collectors and they all have the same name. And apparently she betrayed them by marrying Connell? Greenmantle, Colin. And now she wants to redeem their relationship, and she killed Greenmantle because of that. Yeah, and so Cave's water now has like is like decaying, and it has like this black goo, and I'm guessing it's because of the demon. And also there's something with 621 that has been happening where apparently Ronan with Cave's water, it was 621 when he like brought it into the real world, I believe, and then so he keeps seeing it accidentally on a watch. Other characters have seen it, and then they go into Cave's water and it's that. And then Gainsey and Blue were at Henry's at a toga party, just like a chill one. It wasn't like really anything crazy, which was actually kind of cool to read about, the fact that there was not another douche dude. And also Gainsey and Blue had a little cute couple moments. Also Ronan and Adam, they've had a couple moments, and like, because Ronan's like he talked about having a dream with Adam's fingers in his mouth. No, actually he didn't talk about it. It was just an offhanded comment where he was like talking about like, oh, I had a dream where I put his fingers in my mouth. What the fuck? What are we talking about? Anyways, they had some moments, and I'm even more interested in that because Gainsey and Blue have already had kind of an established relationship. Also, Adam and Ronan now know because Blue and Gainsey, she went back to her house, Blue's house, and they were in this like weird thing where everything was dark. Orla was screaming when she saw them. They went into the reading room and saw Noah being like possessed by something, and it was the Unmaker. I almost said the Unmasker. It's the Unmaker is this like hornet demon dude that Piper keeps getting all these favors from, that she used a favor from him to kill her husband, who was the Greenmantle. Does this all make sense to you? And so Noah gets possessed by him, and Noah also now is showing like what he actually looks like, so he's like really decayed and stuff, and he ends up attacking while being the ghost Noah, who's decayed looking, is possessed by this hornet dude who tells them that they're all gonna die and that he's coming for them. He, while possessing Noah, who is a ghost, attacks Blue and claws her freaking eye and face. They are in urgent care. Ronan and Adam finally show up, and then there's a confession of Gainsey, who didn't know that Adam and Blue had kind of an argument before that, talking about, you know, them being together and stuff. He also was going there because he had a weird dream, or not a dream, but like a weird thing with his eye. So now we're all caught up. Oh, except now I'm more interested in what Declan whole storyline is, because he, I guess, was working with his father when his father was like dreaming up magical items to sell to other people, or maybe he was a curator, I don't know, but Declan kind of was selling the stuff that I believe his father had. I don't believe he was going out of his way to go and get magical items. I have no idea, maybe. But he's basically like what the Gray Man was, except without the like killing and being a hitman type thing, as far as I know. And he gets a call from one of the curators or sellers that tells him that there are people hunting in Henrietta and that Green Mantle was killed and that he should be looking out for. And he's like, what am I looking out for? And she's like, I don't know, dude. I was just told that there's people going there. I don't know what for, but just here's a warning. So that is really interesting. I would be very interested in reading kind of a story about the different magical stuff within this, because it's like, is this all this magical stuff that they're selling? Is it just coming from like people who are like dreamers, who are Grey Warners, or is it just like the other people on ley lines, or other magical stuff is happening? I really am hoping that I'm not getting baited, and that Ronan and Adam do have at least some form of like a romantic relationship before the end of this book, unless I'm being baited by the fandom. I swear if I am, I'm gonna be so mad. I wasn't baited. Yeah. I am now on page 298, which is chapter 43. I didn't get baited. It wasn't just fandom shipping. Yeah. Obviously, we know that has now happened. It was a really... everything about that situation was cute, and the way that they kind of talk about each other, and like the way that they either bring them like calm or like light them up. Beautiful. So there's another thing. Henry Cheng. So okay. So you remember how I was talking about how Declan got a call from like a person who collects magical items? Apparently, or at least I believe that is Henry Cheng's mother, or no, it was confirmed that was his mother. He got kidnapped at like 10 years old, by the way, which is really cool, and he has a magical bee that he can have follow people and just listens to him. He had a very interesting moment with Gainsey in this like pit where he gave him like this bee, and he was like, breathe, it's okay, you need to face your fears. Like, this boy, he got kidnapped, and he's like, I realized that like I can live through the pain because they put me in a pit, and now we're in a pit together, and you're reliving one of your fears. I was like, what's happening? But we did get a chapter from his perspective, because he basically got kidnapped by the Gray Man. So we got a chapter from him basically being like, I don't know what to do, and being the Gray Man, he like puts him in his car, and he's like, you're coming with me. And so of course, you know, you can't stop that. And then Gainsey calls, and they're like, and then you remember the Lamore dudes, the triplets? Well, they're now in town. There's a sale going on, and guess what they're selling? Piper, who's the daughter of the three Lamore dudes and the Colin Green Mantle's wife, she's selling the demons. Also, Neve is dead now. He basically was trying to warn her sister, her cousins, everybody at Blue's house, and she ended up dying because of that. She got unmade. They didn't talk about what that actually involves, though, but Piper's a dumb little idiot and is just thinking about how this demon's gonna serve her, and then not thinking about the fact that the demon's gonna ask for something in return, and it's just using her. She's like, oh well, like, everybody has to use somebody every now and then. she's talking over here wanting fame. Girl, that's not gonna happen. You're gonna be dead in a ditch. Yeah, the way that we know that the Lamore dudes, Lamonier dudes, I'm never gonna pronounce their name correctly, okay? Shut up about it. Are in town because, like I said, Henry got kidnapped by the gray man. Gainsey called. Gainsey and Blue show up to this convenience store. The gray man's like, oh, there's people here, and then we find out that it's two of the Lamores, but I don't know where the third one is, which kind of makes me terrified. Henry's little bee dude his magical bee goes into the car and tracks them at the Lamore dudes as they're leaving. Declan, being, now a more likable character, got Matthew and Ronan. Ronan went back to school. That was so fun. He got Ronan and Matthew in the car, told Ronan that he knows that he's a dreamer, and also that he's been selling stuff that his dad had made, and also kind of the danger that their dad put them in by kind of telling them about the Grey Warner, or like inventing the term Grey Warner, and basically putting them in danger because of that, because it was sought after and everything. So that's really fun, and also that he's been working with his dad for a lot longer, and that's also why he's in DC. A lot of really fun trauma that he's going through. They have a conversation. Matthew's going with Declan, Ronan's staying on the farm, and they kind of have these lighthearted moments, Ronan and Declan, and then that's when Adam and Ronan. Oh, I was just so happy. Like, their scenes together made me grin ear to ear. Also, just love the fact that Ronan was talking about putting Adam's fingers in his mouth again. So now the big catalyst thing is that at the Raven Boys school, Gainsey's mother, who is either running for office or is in office, I forget at this point, but is holding an event at the school, and then there's going to be it is a fundraiser event. I forget if it's for the school or for her campaign. I forget. And so basically that's why the demon's going to be sold there, and there's a bunch of collectors and weird people coming into town because of that. I am very terrified because apparently, Gwenwella's mother was apparently a tree. She had a whole fight with Artemis. Artemis went into the tree, the beech tree that is in Blue's backyard. He's now just in that tree, but Gwenwella's mother was within Cave's water, and the forest is diminishing from the Unmaker, who's just basically destroying the forest anytime that Piper asks for anything. And so her mother died because she was in the tree. And now we kind of have this weird situation where Gwenwella was trying to get information out of Artemis about the demon and about where Glendower is buried, and Artemis was just like, no. But anyways, yeah, we're leading up to a very climactic thing, and I'm kind of terrified, but I will be grinning ear to ear reading Adam and Ronan. And also, Blue and Gainsey are still very cute together. I also find it funny the amount of talk that's about Blue's eye. I'm just like, guys, calm down. But yeah, this book series has been very crazy, but I still have 180 something or 90 something I think left with this, although I'm dyslexic with numbers, so I could be completely wrong. I'm very happy as of right now, and I can't wait to be absolutely emotionally destroyed. I finished the last 138 pages of The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater, which is the final thing in this entire series of the Raven cycle. I ended up giving this 4 stars, 4.5 stars, I forget which. I do love the addition of Henry and kind of how he was added in it towards the end. Don't love the fact that Mr. Gainsey was off running on his own. Also, this book, we're gonna be very honest with each other, it did, I guess it technically did make me cry. I was gonna say it made me tear up, but I wasn't blubbering. I was kind of just oh my gosh, because spoiler, very heavy spoiler, Gainsey ends up dying. And then also, very heavy spoiler, he doesn't actually die because he's brought back by the magic of that they all have. So yeah, Blue kisses him, which ends up, killing him, because basically Ronan gets stuck in the dream world because the demon is basically trying to unmake him, and he also made it so that Adam was violent and possessed him, because Adam has the connection with the ley line at having given himself over to it. And so he basically was attacking Ronan, trying to kill him, because Ronan was kind of the dreamer and the only thing that could not stop him, but I guess take away energy and stuff. So they basically were they all agreed they're gonna go kill Gainsey on the ley lines in the forest, but he ends up dying on the ley line, but not within Cabe's water, because they weren't able to make it there because of the road being flooded and stuff. And basically while all of this is happening, the inventions from Cabe's water are dying, which means that Matthew is kind of being unmade, but we don't really see that. We kind of just get phone calls from Declan with Matthew had gone with him earlier when he wanted also Ronan to come with him to get out of town there. And Ronan's mother also did sadly pass away. That was kind of before, but the forest was dying, and the orphan girl was basically trying to get her out of there, but wasn't successful in that. And that's kind of the whole catalyst for everything that happens, because Ronan's in the car and waiting for freaking Gainsey to be let's go guys, go to the forest and stuff, because that's all he wants to do, is he wants to stop everything that's happening, because he's dealing with grief and stuff. But also I find it really funny because the gray man's still alive. He was trying to team up with Henry's mom, who again is a seller, and Henry is now friends with the rest of them, which is really funny, and now knows kind of all the secret stuff that has happened. And so the gray man's we need to team up. The Lemures show up, or Lumineers, I don't know how you pronounce their name, but only the two dudes. And the gray man has their other brother, because they're the triplets, blood on his shoes, which is really funny. And then Piper shows up. She flies down and has all this magical stuff happening with this demon. She's trying to sell the demon. Her father ends up shooting her after she proves how powerful it is. And then the demon becomes more powerful because it's drinking her blood, or using her as the resource for it. And so basically they had to end it really quickly because he was becoming more powerful, and they needed a person to willingly give their life to save the rest of them. I wouldn't say mixed emotions, but there are definitely some opinions that I have. As much as I do adore this book series, it's still urban fantasy, and I don't know why, but I just feel a lot more cozy and better in worlds that are very fantasy set back in the day type thing, and not urban fantasy. I don't know why that is, but I will say this is probably the most that I've liked in urban fantasy in a very long time. I also do think that her character writing is absolutely incredible, but the development is somewhat lacking in some areas, because at the end of this book was kind of the resolution of Adam talking about how he's not going to become his father, but it wasn't really. I wish that was more of a thing talked about throughout the kind of books and dealt with, instead of just being these things have happened, and now he's better, and going to college and stuff, and so now he's not going to be like his father. And I wish that was thought out more. And I also do wish that we spent more time with Adam and Ronan's relationship. I wish that it wasn't just the last book that we got it in, but that's just me being a little romance girly, wanting these two characters to be together and be happy, especially because they've both gone through so friggin' much. I do think that this entire series is definitely like a comfort one. I do wish that I had annotated this book series, which I know some people are going to be like, well, just reread it and annotate it. I'm going to be very honest with you, and this is not me trying to be cute or unique in any way. This is the honest truth. I've never reread a book series, or really even a book in general. But I do really like this book series. I might, like, one day go back and annotate these because, I don't know, that just seems like a fun thing to do. And I do think that this is, like, something that I absolutely adore with the found family, and also just the way that it's mostly about the characters rather than, like, the magical systems and the plot type stuff, and just kind of about their issues and what they're going through. And it's also because you care about these characters so much, even within like 50 pages of the first book, that you kind of do want to hear everything that you can about them. Like, you kind of become obsessed with them in a way. But that also does kind of make me want to read the Dreamers trilogy, just to even get like a glimpse of these characters very genuinely. But yeah, this is a product of its time in the fact that it's actually good. Okay, I said it, okay? The fact that there's an original idea and the characters are really good, and that this wasn't rushed out, and that she took a couple years to write this series instead of having to pump it out within 2 years of starting the first one. Talk about it. Call it out. Anyways, yeah. This has been quite the fun journey. I'm sorry that this has not been the most concise or best video ever. This definitely has some nostalgia for the time era that it was written in, but it also just, like, the nostalgia of being a teenager with friends going and doing weird stuff, but for them it's like more serious stuff. And also just the trope of like teens on bikes, you know, going and finding like mysteries and stuff is such a fun thing. And they all have such interesting character dynamics and ways that they interact, and their relationships are just so beautifully written. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this conglomerate of a mess. But yeah, I enjoyed this series and would 10 out of 10 recommend, even though it is urban fantasy. That speaks a lot. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. Comment down below what you think about these books. Whatever. Thank you. Bye.